Happy Fragrant Friday, Fraghead. Hey everybody, this is Ben here at That Cologne Guy, coming at you with a new review. How are you doing? I hope you are doing well. This is the channel, of course, that welcomes you into your weekend. As I said, my name is Ben. This is That Cologne Guy. New content every single Friday. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps when you leave a comment about my content. So there we go. So you've seen the title and the description. You know I am checking out a very different one for me. This is House of Dastan, and it is Game of Joy. So I don't know if it's Dastan or Dastan, but we'll just say House of Dastan, Game of Joy. This is the first review I have done for this house. Not the parfumé, though. The parfumé is Richard Herpin, which looks like Richard Herpin. So Herpin, to me, sounds a lot better, but it's Richard Herpin is the nose or parfumé for this. I have done a few of his before. This is a 2024 release, and it's kind of odd because it's noted as a woody, spicy, and I would not have come up with this. With that category, what I would like to impress upon you today is I am going to do this review from the point of view for would I like this on a woman. So I just want to be very clear. This is a unisex release. It says for men and for women, and I do not find this a unisex release. I find this definitely, unequivocally for women. And so I'm going to give a review and I'm going to give my rating, but I'm going to base it on, I wore it throughout the week. I had to choose kind of selectively when I was going to wear this. This is a little too feminine for me, but my review and my rating will be as if, imagining it's for a woman. So if you are a lady and you're watching this review, then you should definitely stick around because this is for you. Now, when it comes to the notes, this is just tropical and fruity, and then some more fruity. This is an explosion of mango, watermelon, and pear with a little sandalwood and a little woodsiness in the base. And so what I would say for me personally that really stands out is this would only be for somebody, in my estimation, who really, really loves mango, perhaps watermelon from the get-go. I mean, it does, the woodsy factor definitely comes up because it's in the base. And as you wear it, you also get the sandalwood, which is very nice. But overall, this is a very fruity, tropical release that just, to me, screams, like a young woman. And so it certainly wasn't for me, but in fact I do have a little juice here left over, but it is nice. So those are the notes, but I want to be very clear on what really stands out here. This one is just, somebody said a cough, a lozenge, right? A cough drop. I don't know that I would go that far. I don't know that it's that medicinal for me. I would say it's just really, really just explosive of mango and watermelon and a bit of pear, and then of course the woods and the sandalwood. The sandalwood comes up, and then maybe a little bit of incense. So. In the base. So that's what you're looking at. It's kind of a clash, actually. It's kind of weird because, right when you're thinking this is going to be really, really fruity, and then you sense the woods a little bit more in the base. I found that a tad odd. So here's what I was gonna say. This one is going to be a shorter review just because it's pretty clear what's going on here. I mean, I found it relatively linear, really. So let's get to the categories. This one, as far as longevity, projection, and sillage, longevity is a 6 to 8, and I would give it closer to 6 for me. It did okay on the outside. It's certainly perfect for hotter weather. So I would say 6 to 8, closer to 6 is what I got on longevity. Now, as far as projection, it was okay. It was definitely, I would say 3 to 7 hours on projection, 3 feet or 1 meter from my body. And then it started to really get closer to the skin after about the 6-7 hour mark. I mean, really closer to the skin. But keep in mind, I do come in and out of the outdoors a fair amount. So if you were inside, like if you wore this to a club, for example, I mean, it would do quite nice. So this in the sillage. So if you're in a club and you're walking past people, you want to get noticed, you want people to smell your perfume. They will actually throughout most of the night, as long as you over apply. I would hit this guy with about 5 to 6, 7, 8 sprays, and just really make sure that it's on there, with the possible chance of reapplying in the bathroom. So that's the longevity, projection, and sillage, kind of par for course, really. Here's the issue that I guess I struggle with on this one, is the versatility factor. Because when I give my rating, I'll talk about this a little bit more, but when it comes to the versatility here, man, if you don't like mango, or if you don't like watermelon, you're just not going to be able to get past this one, end of. So when it comes to the gender, I'm going to say, to me, I just don't see this as a unisex release. I mean, I'm sure they probably, with this house, a lot of niche houses have gone, quote unquote, beyond gender. And so they just put for men and women for everything. And that's totally fine. When I give my percentages, in fact, I hardly ever say like 100% either gender. So it makes sense. This one, though, to me is definitely top heavy on the feminine side. So I would say this is probably going to be about an 80-20 split. This will be 80% of the people who buy it, who wanted it, it's their signature scent. I would say 80% are women, and 20% would be men. That's just how I take it, because really, if you're a guy, you're going to need to really like, mango and watermelon. And it's very nice. If you do, I found it a little bit too fruity and tropical, for my tastes. So when it comes to the age, then I'm actually going to say, to me, it's like middle school, high school. I would say it's like it leans, of course, feminine. I would say this would be for a woman in anywhere from middle school all the way up to 30. I see this as a younger woman fragrance. I see this more for high school, for college, for your first internship, first job, first car, first apartment, the first house, these kinds of things. Okay, so to me, this would be perfect for, again, a younger lady, a younger woman crowd, and of course, that doesn't really fit to me. So I do like it. What I worry about with this one, though, is the versatility. Not only that, but if I were to give this as a gift, you would really want to make sure that the person was incredibly into fruity fragrances, and especially, in particular, watermelon and mango, as I said. So, for my daughter, would I get something like this? I think she would like something like this, because she is a fan of mango. I worry that it doesn't stand out enough, though, from the pack, is my worry. It is the proverbial nice. Now let's get to the bad news, though. The bad news is it really isn't good to be nice if you're $375 a pop retail. That's not discounter, but $375 retail for a 3.4 ounce 100 milliliter bottle. So, I mean, if you're going to bust out, the presentation looks nice. You'll see a picture of it. And I heard that the bottle was actually kind of cheap, but I can't speak to that, and I will not speak to that. But I did want to offer that comment. The box and the perfume bottle look niche quality, but this really does have, I'm sorry, but this really does have kind of a Victoria's Secret, Bath and Body Works element to it that I was completely blown away or taken aback that it was 375 body parts, as Julio likes to say. So for $375 retail, That's way, way too much, and I would definitely not recommend this one as my first choice to buy this for somebody else or even for you at that price range. Man, you'd have to be going far south of $200 for me to even consider buying this for a gift for somebody else. Or in your case, if you are interested in buying it for you, I would really, really look at somewhere like, some discounter where you can find it well south of $200. Come on, because if you like fruity, if you like tropical, there are so many designer fragrances and cheapies out there that can mimic something like this at 1/10. I mean, if this is $375 for $37.50, you can find a good quality mango or watermelon based fragrance that will mimic this, and that's the problem, right? That's the issue with these these niche houses, excuse me. But hey, somebody is clearly buying them. It's doing quite well. I saw a few comments online that said this should be 2025 fragrance of the year. For me, it is not. It's not a pass, but man, I'm just not really getting this, because if you're gonna try to sell me on something, it better be that's expensive. It better be really daring or smell absolutely nice, intoxicating. Like if you look at Maison Francis Cook Jiang or MFK, if you look at some of his house's fragrances, they are expensive. And they're not necessarily daring or thinking outside of the box, but they are incredible. I mean, they do smell wonderful. They really smell niche. Whereas this one, you can convince me that it smells niche, but I just mean it doesn't have a wow factor. And then when you attach a wow factor price tag on a perfume that doesn't have necessarily a wow factor, it's gonna struggle in the market. That's my take on this one. So when it comes to the rating, I struggled because I almost felt like this was a 3, but then I was going to dock a couple sprays, which would put it at a 1 out of 5. That's definitely not. That's way too harsh there. You can convince me that this is quite good. I do like how the incense and the sandalwood, and I think it's tonka. Yeah, it's tonka bean also in the base that mix with the mango and the watermelon and the pear. You can convince me that is very, very nice. I don't really care for mango, but I mean that won't cloud my judgment really when I give a review, right? It wouldn't be fair. So in this particular case, I'm going to go ahead and say that this would be normally a 4 out of 5 sprays, just as far as like the overall experience. And I'm as if I were a woman and I enjoyed mango, watermelon, fruity, tropical. Okay, so that's 4. But I'm definitely docking a spray, and they're lucky it's just 1 for the price tag. And so this is a 3 out of 5 for me in my rating system. And it's in some ways it's kind of lucky it's even getting a 3. You guys know though that I can be a harsh critic, and a 3 out of 5 means that I might have it in my collection, or I might not, or in this case, I might buy it for somebody and I might not. This one is probably going to be a no-go for me as far as like that I would buy this for somebody else as a gift. The one exception would be only if somebody said, look, I absolutely adore mango and watermelon, or one of the two, then I would consider this if I could find it discounted steeply, heavily discounted, then I would consider it. But that's a lot of ifs. So we are going to go 3 out of 5. It's kind of a pass for me personally, but let me know what you think, because online, when I went to a few of the online shops that do carry it, the reviews are quite good. So it seems to me that people who do have it really, and they were all verified buyers, so the people who have it actually really, really love it, and that matters, and that's why I'm happy with a 3 out of 5 for this one. I thought about it, like I said, going 4 and then taking off 1 for the price, and then 1 because it wasn't incredibly versatile. That would put it at a 2. 2 is too harsh for this. We're going to rock it right at 3, 1 on each side of the neck, and 1 right on the bunting kinting kunting Meshuggah shirt. And boom. It's almost, whew. Yeah, this is not, to me, unisex. I mean, I still have some left. I admittedly labored through this one this week, but it's also fun to try something different. And it was fun to review something for the ladies. And so, again, that's what I wanted to do. That is 3 out of 5 sprays. Let me know what you think. Do you like this one? Is this one for you? If you have this one, do you feel differently? Do you feel like it's a lot more versatile than I said? I do think this does kind of shout, spring and summer. But hey, let me know what you think. I've really enjoyed doing something quite different. You might think, well, yeah, he was kind of lukewarm on this one. I did struggle a little bit, but actually that really made it extra fun this week because, a lot of times you guys will send me in stuff that or think that I will really, really like, something that's right in my wheelhouse. So this was actually very, very different than what I'm used to, and I really enjoyed that. This was yet another sample sent in by a subscriber. You guys are great. I really appreciate all the support, and always remember, my friends, fragrance marks the celebration of today. Take care, everybody. Make sure you like content, a possible blooper just to start off.